so happy you guys are on tonight because I'm super excited. We just got back from leadership in California, and I'm sure a lot of you guys were following us on Snapchat and seeing all the cool things that we got to do. And it was not the first time that Sarah and I met, but it was kind of like the first time that we like had a lot of time together. And I'm basically obsessed with her. So when we came back, we were like, we need to do a call together. And earlier today, when we were like going through our stuff, like our notes from the past week, we noticed that we had completely different takeaways. We were listening to the same people talk. We were in the same room, yet our notes are totally different. So that, I think that's just why like this call is going to be awesome, because you'll be able to hear so much and you can really pick what your takeaways are going to be also. If you guys don't know me, for anybody that's on Sarah's team, I am Team Takeover. We are an elite team. We finished 143 in 2015 out of all the coaches, which is pretty awesome. And I am in New Jersey, and I've been a coach for 3 years, and I do this full time. And Miss Sarah Chilutti.
Hi. I am a 2-star Diamond Premier coach, and I am my team's Team Fortitude. For those who don't recognize the faces on the call, that's my team. We finished, I actually looked up today, 302 in 2015. Yeah, because I was like, man, I have no idea what we finished, to be honest. So I'm excited to get this going.
I'm really excited. So what we're going to actually do is I am going to show you guys or share with you a video that was shown to us. And it was just so powerful. It kind of had me crying. So that's really what we want to start with. So can you guys all see my computer okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Meredith's frozen.
I'm frozen?
Yeah.
How about now?
Oh, it's getting in.
All right, how about we post the video for you guys to view later on. Whatever, it was really powerful, and I was crying by the end. So maybe I'll just want to cry in private.
I'll post it to my team page too. It's like, it'll give you the chills.
Yeah.
Oh, and a little bit about the video before you watch it. It's Steph Carey, Jordan Smith, and I'm not sure the ballerina's name, but all of them were supposed to foul in their sports. Steph Carey's too short, Jordan's too young, and the ballerina was thank you, Misty. Misty was, I believe, the first black ballerina, and everyone was an underdog, and now look at them. So before you watch that, just a little background.
Harmony would know that about the ballerina. We have our own ballerina on the team. Isn't that exciting? Like a legit one. So yeah, that video was awesome. But what we're going to do is just kind of take you through like our takeaways. First off, there is, I don't know if you guys saw, but there are 2 more new programs coming out this year. One is going to be launched at Summit. So if you guys were at Summit last year, you know that the people at Summit have first dibs. You have exclusive access to the programs. You have exclusive access to trying the program live, also with whatever trainer it's going to be. I can kind of tell you who I think it's going to be and what I think it's going to be if you guys want to know what I think. I think it's going to be Jericho from Combat. Yeah, I think it's going to be the Combat crew, which is really exciting because if you've ever done a Les Mills Combat, you just feel like a legit badass after, which is really exciting. And then there's going to be another launch, I think in November of this year. So there's 2 more programs being launched. And another thing too is we learned that they're revamping the way that our customers are shopping. So, like when you go to check out and there's like, if you like this dress, you might also like these shoes. This earring is going to look great with it. There's going to be that feature now, which is really exciting, right? Because then it's like that has your people thinking to the future of like what the next steps are going to be in their journey. Right, exactly, an upsell, Jack. So that's like the cool thing too. Like you'll be able to provide an extra service without like having to talk about it kind of a thing. It's going to kind of be in their face. And they're revamping the Coach Online office for us. There's going to be all new tools, and the cool thing is too that they're going to be making it easier to work on your online office from your cell phone. Right? That's exactly the same face I had, Jackie. Because if you guys work from your phone a lot, if you're always on the go, looking at your phone and pulling up your downline is sometimes just such a pain, right? It sucks sometimes. So all of these new things are coming up. And Abby, did you mean about the challenge group app? So at Super Saturday, they talked about that. They're figuring it out about the challenge group app. They just want to make it perfect before they launch it. So it might be a few more months, maybe like March or something. But they didn't talk about it at leadership. Leadership was kind of more what's going on for us. So I think that's really exciting. And another cool thing is too that we learned is there's 925 Beachbody employees, which is awesome. And there's about 1,000 employees that also help with customer service and coach relations, which is pretty cool. So headquarters in Beachbody, they're really focusing a lot also on coach relations and customer service and making it streamlined and easy. And what we also learned too is when a customer service rep gets hired, they only get trained in one area. So that's one thing too. Like they only get trained in one area, so they can really only truly be super specific and help you in one area. So if you guys do call coach relations and they're just like a pain in the ass, you can say, okay, thank you, hang up and call back again to try to find somebody else that you gel with, kind of a thing, And if you really, really like a coach relations, somebody that you talk to, ask them their name, and when you call, you can ask for them. That's another thing I learned too. Okay. And so what we're going to do, we got these really awesome books with all of the files and everything. So we got this huge notebook with all of the slides, everything. So we're going to take you guys through this entire book. Okay. So do you all have your notebooks ready?
Yes.
Get your
smart people take notes.
Get your pens ready. If you guys don't mind, sometimes this chat box can get a little overwhelming for me, and it's hard for me to keep up. So instead of using the chat box for questions, can you write your questions down, and then at the end we'll have a big Q&A? Do you mind? Thank you. Are you guys ready? Notebooks, pens?
Okay, so Mary, you want me to get started?
Yeah.
All right, so the first speaker we heard from was Carl, and he was really talking about shifting your mindset, which I know as coaches pushing for like a big goal like Success Club or promoting yourself to a certain like Emerald Diamond, we focus on numbers, right? Because numbers are the things that promote you, but really the main focus we should be having, of course, is looking at how we can help more people enhance their lives, whether it's through the coaching opportunity or through just a challenge group. So our job is to solve a problem, not focus on the financial benefits. So I have kind of solve a problem over financial benefits, because if you're just focusing on that individual's problem, whatever it may be, the financial benefits will come. So he was talking about a lot of people are worried about this is a big MLM. And an MLM is worried about the money at the end of the day. They're focused on the dollar sign. We're a network marketing company, which means we're focused on helping. And in our case, it's helping people. So how many people just here alone have pushed for a goal, whether it's Success Club or whatever it may be, and they're focused so hard on a number that at the end of the month or the week or the day, whatever it may be, they feel burned out? I'll raise my hand. I have. Anyone here?
Been there.
Okay. So it happens with everyone, or you just get to that point where you're so busy, everything wants to go wrong that month, and you just feel burnt out. And what happens is, the business will get boring if we focus on the numbers. We focus on Success Club rather than helping 3 people. We focus on Diamond rather than showing 8 people, like, look at what this business has done for me, and focus on the positive side. So the biggest thing that Carl stressed is lead with your heart all the time. And that's something that, like, I can't stress enough, that has totally changed my business as well. So one quote that he said that was like really like whoa to me was, everything you do is going to be hard. Pick your hard. That's why this is an opportunity. It's not a promised paycheck. It's not at the end of the week you're going to make X, Y, Z. It's an opportunity. You make this whatever you want. A job, our 9-to-5 job, a corporate job, that's a promised paycheck, of course, but what's harder for you? Getting a couple no's a month, like 500 no's in a month, or whatever your goal for no's is, or missing Christmas with your babies because you're stuck at work? Because I know that would be my situation in the future as a full-time cop, is that's going to happen. So that's my why. That's my push for the future. So pick your hard, whatever your hard may be. And I don't know, that's something that's really stuck with me. So, and then at the end of each speaker, we kind of had to write our takeaways. And mine was focus on helping people, getting their transformations, whatever their goal may be, whether it's transformation to be more positive and confident, or transformation to hit that, weight loss goal, whatever it may be. Get them a health success. Even your coaches, get them that first win on their side, that big health success, whether it's, fitting in jeans, finishing a program. I could go on, and help them to overcome something. Talk to your coaches, talk to your challengers. What's one big thing that they would love to overcome? Get them to that. Be that person, and I promise if you focus on those things, the business side's going to come with it. They're going to be so excited about what you're doing for them, what the program's doing for them, what Takeology's doing for them, that you're not going to have to drag them through, coach basics or whatever that may be. They're going to be so excited because they know what this can do for them. So that is my big things from Carl.
Yeah. So write down Carl Deichler takeaways. Okay. And then next up, Jeff Hill was talking. So Jeff Hill is the Executive Vice President of Global Sales, just so you guys know who Jeff Hill is. Jeff Hill is also the guy on the National Wake Up Call on Mondays. So you guys probably all just recognize his voice. And his theme for this was what got you here won't get you there. Which was a good one, right? So my huge thing from his talk was getting real with yourself right now and thinking about what you have done and where you want to go. So this time, last year, like my team knows, I was in the end of 2015, I was a diamond coach. And I had to sit down and look at myself and look at my business and think about where I want to go and what I was doing. And I had to have that brutal, real, raw talk with myself that I did not want to have about logistics and about what I really wanted to do. What was I really doing? Because most of the time I was just scrolling Facebook, I was making excuses, and I was just bullshitting. So I had to get real. So that's something that you guys kind of have to do. If you feel like you're stuck in your business, or if you're just starting out in your business and you're just not sure how to take that next step, sitting down and sort of getting brutally real with what is happening right now. What are your daily actions? Are you reading your personal development? Are you doing your workouts? Are you helping people? Are you talking to people? Because if you're not doing those things, then that's step one. And that's somewhere where you can automatically and right away change things. So a really great good PD book. We're going to compile a list of PD books, but we might just throw things out. So write this one down. Something good if this is kind of where you're feeling. The book Good to Great. Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Okay, and then Jeff continued to go on and made this one analogy from this PD book was the Stockdale Paradox, which I hope I pronounced right. But he was talking about the hedgehog concept, the hedgehog and the fox. And he was talking about the fox and how the fox is fast and it's lean and it can do all these things and it's fierce and aggressive. And the hedgehog, the only way the hedgehog can defend itself is it crawls up in a ball and all the pointy things stick out its pines or whatever you want to call it. And that's his thing. That's the only thing people really know about a hedgehog. And then he was talking about how, the hedgehog does one thing really, really well. But most people, they would think of the fox and how the fox can do these lists of things, but not one thing really well. So he kind of related this in the way of don't chase the shiny objects. Don't, focus on, well, this coach said do this, this coach said do this, this coach said do this, this coach was really good at this. Because then all of a sudden you're going to be like Sarah in 2015 and try 20 things, giving about 10% to everything. And I promise that doesn't work out. You end up 1, burnout, and 2, really pissed off. So that's one thing that really stuck out with me. And then he asked these 3 questions to kind of help wrap it up. You guys can look up the hedgehog and the fox story. Jeff told it a lot better than I. Basically, what can you be best at in your world? Maybe you're a mom with 1,000 things on your plate who can juggle a million things. Maybe you're, there's so many different things about everybody that they do really well. What are you the most passionate about? That could be a couple different things, but, figure that out. And what drives your economic engine? So that's more, the business side. What's going to drive you? Is it, getting that challenger that's like, hey, it was you that changed my life? Or is it recognition? Think about what is best suited for you. And he was talking about, having these big, scary, hairy goals and how most people, they just set them. And then they think of all these crazy things that they're going to do to get it done, but they forget the 3 things that from day one new coaches hear, the 3 vital behaviors. And honestly, I don't know how many conferences I've gone to, and I know Meredith can probably back me up here, but every new coach, their secret is just being consistent at the 3 vital behaviors and actually have it written down. That don't be sloppy and to plan your week, but we're going to get more into that one. So that was kind of, I really like the hedgehog concept because I was definitely a shiny object chaser rather than focusing on my strengths and really embracing that. And once you do make that shift change, your business definitely takes that spin. I'm really good at kind of reading from lists. I'm not a list reader.
And that's the thing too, like that was one really big takeaway that I got because, he was saying like, just do that one thing that you guys know you can do. And that's the thing that's going to separate you from all the other Beachbody coaches because only you have that one thing. Like you're the only person out there. You're your own person. So if you can focus on that one tiny little thing, everything else is going to fall into place instead of spreading yourself out so fucking thin. And then
we all offer Shakeology. We all offer a challenge group, workouts, etc. They're only getting you, though, when they sign up with you. They're not getting, like, you and Meredith or, like, you and Melanie Mitchell. They don't even know who she is. They're not worried about that stuff. So add value to you as a person. Each person on this call has a strength that I bet you I don't have. Like, Meredith is very much herself and puts it out there in such a fun, awesome way where that's something I can't say, like, I do. I'm different. We're different people. And it's a good thing because you're going to attract who you are the more you're putting it out there and stopping trying to be Melanie Mitchell or Amy Silverman or whoever. So sorry, Mary, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm still working on it.
That's okay. So then he went on to talking about the creating a culture of discipline. And I know for my girls, this is a big struggle because staying consistent and staying on point with things that are on your list is so vital and so crucial to your success. And I 100% have failed at sticking to that. But when I don't bomb at it and when I am really great at staying consistent with my list, that's when I see a huge change in my business. So one really cool thing that he said was stop doing lists are more important than start doing lists. Okay. So just kind of like the same thing, like you want to, stop focusing on things that you can't control. Stop focusing on things that aren't going to help your business and start focusing on that hedgehog, that one thing that's going to truly help you. So like even in that book, he talks about it in the the Good to Great personal development book. That's kind of like where Jeff Hill got all of these notes from, is just basically like creating this culture within yourself where you can stop and think about the little things that you're doing and how they're going to change your business and yourself. And then he gave this really awesome example. I don't remember the marathon runner's name. Do you, Sarah?
Oh man, I remember it, but I'm not even going to try to pronounce it.
Yeah. So there's this awesome.
We'll just call him Jeff though, because when in doubt, it's Jeff.
Right. Yeah. So there's this awesome marathon runner, and like homeboy does like 10 miles a day. He swims like 20 miles a day, and he bikes like 15 miles a day. I don't know, something stupid crazy. And what he does is he eats a whole bowl of cottage cheese every single day, right? That's exactly what I did too. It's gross, right? But what he does with the cottage cheese is he rinses it off. Because if you're biking that much and if you're exercising that much, you need to have all those extra calories. But in training seasons, what he would do was he would rinse his cottage cheese. So he would just be left with the good stuff. And he would rinse off the crap. So if you kind of think about it like that, you have to figure out what your cottage cheese is. What do you need left in your bowl? And what can you rinse off? Does that make sense? I mean, I feel like that's kind of nasty. I mean, it is, but it sticks with you, right? It makes sense. You want to rinse off the crap and you want to focus on the good stuff, what it's actually doing for you. So the cottage cheese concept was really, really awesome. It's kind of nasty, but it just kind of put it all into perspective. So you think about your bowl. What's your cottage cheese? What are you good at? And then how can you get rid of the stuff that you don't need to be doing, or the stuff that's not helping you in your day-to-day activities to move your business forward? Nobody's going to look at cottage cheese the same.
Ugh, I wish I could have picked something more yummy.
I know, like cottage cheese.
Because I'm like, that's a great analogy, but I'm kind of throwing up thinking about it, so.
You've seen the visuals. I'll show you guys, don't worry.
All right, so after Jeff, Michelle Myers was talking. She's a 12-star Diamond Elite coach. She's been a coach for 7 years, or she says she's Beachbody old. She was talking about leading with service and creating a strong work ethic, and basically talking about being the leaders of leaders. Of course, we all want to be, right? We all want a team of leaders and not a team where we're holding their hand and kind of dragging them along to make them see it. We want them to see it. And we were talking about having ownership, giving our challengers, our coaches. If you're a brand new coach, you can think of this in the way of leading your challengers, because I really think that's where the leadership starts. But talking about giving them ownership and not accountability, which I at first was like, what are you talking about? That we run accountability groups. But basically saying, your success is your success. If you hit diamond, Meredith isn't going to say, I got her to diamond. No, that was you. You earned that stuff. So we're not going to earn your success, just like we're not going to claim your failures. Basically, you're here because you decided to be. So what you do with your business, claim that ownership. Don't expect, I guess, as coaches and leaders, like to hold your people accountable and things like that. And then she was talking about empower versus enable, which I really loved. And she was talking about don't do the work for your coaches. You're not going to do the work for your challengers, right? We're not going to show up in their living room and press play for them and then physically work out with them right there, right? No. Instead, we're going to post in a challenge group and ask them, to own up if they worked out or not. So, and also, uplift them. Don't bring them down because maybe they're not good at XYZ, but they're really awesome at XYZ. I don't know how else. I shouldn't have used that concept, but, find their strengths and really pull it out of them and let them know. I used to be a really shy, like this would scare the crap out of me type of girl. And if it weren't for my coach letting me know, like, hey, you're really good at this. Hey, you're doing a lot better with this. Those little tiny things versus saying like, hey, you're a really shitty public speaker, and me being like, oh, okay, I'm never going to do this again. You know what I mean? Like, rather than focus on that negative thing, being like, you're getting a lot better with your videos and not saying or like every 25 seconds. Like, wow. So, be empowering. Don't enable them. And then Merrick, if you want to do the next one. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Okay. I love it. I mean, see, that's why we're doing this together, because, Okay. So the next thing that she talks about is just being blameless. So it's one of, like, be blameless. Like, what did you learn? How can you be better? What are great things that you can do? So kind of like reevaluating. What she talks about is, how we do those live coaching opportunity calls all the time? And it's usually me hosting them. I mean, some of you have hosted them, but some of you are going to start hosting them a lot more. But what she talks about is for leaders that are already existing. So that means people that are like emeralds or higher. What you want to start doing, kind of just what Sarah said, is helping people. But doing live calls can be really intimidating. I'm that type of person where if you put me in a situation, I will figure it out. I'm not that shy. Like, I can handle it, sort of a thing. So if that's not kind of how you roll, if you are a little more nervous, what she recommends, which is amazing, which we're going to start doing, is you need to start. First of all, if you guys have never gotten on a live coaching opportunity call that anybody that we have hosted, you need to make sure you get on one. So that way you can see what they're like. Then what you're going to do is then you're going to host one. And it's just going to be the two of us. So it's going to be like me or Sarah or you and your coach. And it's just going to be basically the two of you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate together what you could do better and what you did great on. Then you're going to host your own publicly. And you're going to invite people to it. And then we're going to talk again. So she kind of sets it up so that way you are 100% like there for your coaches if that's a struggle. You're supporting them. You're on these calls together. And then after your calls, you guys kind of regroup together and talk about, what you could have done better, where your strengths clearly are, what are your weaknesses, how you can promote your event better. Things like that. So that way they're not like floundering around and you're just over here. You're like, nah, you did good. So you guys are in it together. Like, that's the whole point of the team, is being there together. So if you guys have never hosted a live coaching opportunity call, you better write this down. I am going to host my own call starting, and then pick a day, and it better be within the next 2 weeks. Thanks. I see a lot of unhappy faces.
My coaches, you better be doing this too, because we're doing the same thing.
Same thing across the board, okay? So everybody needs to pick a date, and it has to be in the next 2 weeks. Then you have to let me or Sarah know. Shay, I can see it on your face. You are so excited. Shay's like, I'm going to kill you, Meredith. Yes, you're doing it, okay? So that's something that you're going to do. But your first call is just going to be with me and Sarah, okay? You don't have to invite anybody to it. Feel better now? Just shake your head, yes. It'll be okay. Thank you. Okay? So that's something that you guys are going to do. It's one of those things where you just want to kind of, you guys are here for a reason, right? Beachbody coaching is one of those things that has changed your life in some way, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this call if it hasn't changed your life. So it's pretty selfish of you if you don't share that. Okay, so think about it that way. It's selfish of you not to want to help others do the same. That might ease it a little bit. Okay, so stop being blameless and start doing. And we're going to do it together in the next 2 weeks. Thank you.
And just going off that, it's so funny because I texted Mare earlier and I was like, oh my God, this trading like just hit me today. I swear, like I heard Michelle Myers in my head, like, don't be blameless. Just a little, I swear to God, really quick backstory. I teach softball pitching lessons, and I'm teaching a lesson, and I realized I've been teaching this girl for 3 months, and we've not gotten any better. Like, just been here the whole month, or the whole 3 months. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm a bad coach. Like, wow, we haven't gotten any better. You know, we're still working on the same things from day one. Like, I'm a bad coach. And then at the end of the lesson, I asked him, I said, how many times are you practicing outside of our lesson together, outside of our half an hour of the whole entire week? And they said, none. And I realized I'm not the bad coach. I'm teaching her everything she needs to be a good pitcher. The fact that they're not taking it to the next level and doing it on their own time when it matters, you know. So that's what Mary means. Be at the end of the day blameless. It's not my fault that we're still at the same spot as day one. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing what I can. So if that helps, put it in I'm an analogy person. So if that helps a little bit. But next we were talking about top performers versus average performers, which I'm sure all of us want to be, right? We wouldn't be on the call if we didn't want to be a top performer. And she really focused on purpose. And she basically started off with, it's not what we sell, like I said earlier, it's what we stand for. You know, you're the most unique thing that you have to offer in a challenge pack. You're offering your group, you're offering your heart, your mind, all that good stuff. You're the best thing that person is getting out of their challenge pack. So she basically said, there's a little backstory. Michelle's Southern, so I'm probably going to mess this up because I'm a city girl, but bear with me here. She was talking about a fish, and it was a blue something. But she said...
Fishing. She goes fishing.
Yeah, she was fishing. But she was only fishing with her hands. She had no bait, no line, none of that. Yeah, bluegill. Thanks, Jackie. She was saying this fish was this is literally her own word, so stupid that she caught it with her own hands versus, you know, going out and using the expensive bait, expensive line, all that good stuff and getting the good fish. No one eats bluegill. And she was saying cheap bait equals cheap fish. Lead with purpose and you'll attract the right people versus leading, you know, desperate to hit Success Club and hit a number. You're going to attract those coaches that think this is just about the money, get rich quick, and they're pissed off because they've been a coach for 10 seconds and they haven't made $1,000 in a week. You're going to attract those coaches if that's how you're leading. But if you attract, you know, if you're leading yourself with purpose and your message is in your posts and everything like that, you're going to attract the right people. So she's talking about how products create the revenue, you know, your money, but people create the passion. People are going to be why you, in Meredith's case, wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and work her tail off, you know. They're going to create that fire to keep you going. When you do get that message like, hey, Madeline, you know, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to do this. And that is going to be like that fire to your fuel. There's nothing better than those type of messages. So she was like really talking about that. And one thing I like how she led off with was, think of you before coaching and how far you came since then. And she wasn't talking about the dollar sign. She wasn't talking about any of that. For me, you know, I was so insecure. I was deathly shy. Like, I could go on and on with what I was. But, you know, coaching, think of what's going to drive you, that money, what means more than money. What, at the end of the day, would you show up for every day, even if you didn't get a paycheck? For me, it's that one girl that maybe was like me, and because of my help with her, whatever it was, got over, you know, all of that. So everyone's different, though. What else was it? Yeah, just basically, you know, lead with love. Love expands, fear extracts. Blech.
Yeah. She taught because Michelle Myers considers herself an old Beachbody coach because she's kind of been around since Beachbody coaching has been around. Somebody asked too about like how she keeps people on Shakeology HD. How does she keep that retention going? And she said that manipulation versus inspiration is going to produce loyalty. Bring it back home to why you started. Why do you love Shakeology? Why are you on Shakeology HD? Why are you a 366er? I hope you guys all know what that means. Okay, thanks. So that's
sorry, Mary. If that spoke to you, a PD recommendation that she was saying was start with why. I'm not sure who the author is, but
sure, if you Google.
Yeah, you'll find it.
I'm in scenic.
Oh yeah, start with why. Thanks, Lori.
You're welcome.
Did you read it? Oh, you're good.
No, it's on my list since he spoke at Summit last year.
So good. Yeah, girl. Okay, so you guys wrote that down, right? Y'all need to read that next. We're going to talk about, so now Melanie Mitchell comes on. You guys all know who Melanie Mitchell is, right? I don't need to give her any intro. Okay, homegirl's legit. Her topic was developing a recruiting culture. Isn't this one amazing? Okay, so this is kind of basic. We don't really want to spend too much time on it because we've talked about this so much and there's a bunch of trainings already. Also, we could do another call just about this specific thing. But what she talks about too is really just identifying who your ideal coach is, figuring out what your audience needs from you on a day-to-day basis. Things like that, like what can you provide, you know? And if you could start and like create like your, I don't know what the correct term is, but your avatar. If you can create your avatar of who your ideal coach is, like think about exactly who you want on your team, right? So if you can sit there and if you can recruit you, like your ideal person, what does it look like? Is it a woman? Is it a man? Is it a mom? Is it somebody that works and loves their full-time job and just loves this as a hobby? Like if you can sit there and figure out who your ideal coach is, then you can gear your post to that person. So sometimes you need to almost take a step back. Like if you guys have been recruiting and if you've been trying to like help people through the coaching opportunity, if you don't know what your team is going to look like and who you want to be surrounded by, this is where you need to start. So you got to know who you're talking to and who you're reaching and who you want to reach. So you need to identify who you're reaching, okay? And then she goes into this really cool thing where, so for my team, we have a calendar set up. I'm going to tweak it based on everything that I learned this week. But you almost want to plan 1 month ahead, which is awesome for us where you guys are right now because we're at the end of the month. So you guys can start right now planning for February and planning your 1 month out. So if you can figure it out and create your month plan, that way your posts will be, your posts are going to be geared with a purpose because you're going to have a game plan and you're going to have all of your reasons for what you're talking about in your weeks throughout the month. Okay. So, she talks about too, like, what are some of your struggles? How can you address these struggles in your post? What are you dealing with? So I know that we've talked about that a lot in my team too. But plan it out how you want your month to look like. So if you're going to be running your challenge group the second week of the month, what do you need to do? How do you need to back that up so that way you have people ready to go for that challenge group starting the second week of the month? Same thing with a free group, same thing with trainings, all of that stuff. If you plan it out, then you can kind of backtrack and see where you need to. And the cool thing is Melanie Mitchell gave us her calendar, which we can share. Isn't that amazing? So you guys are gonna have access to her legit calendar, and that's kind of what she does is, and then she takes a few days to promote going live with it. So it's almost like one really awesome quote that really stuck with me is done is better than perfect. So I know a lot of you guys are scared to run free groups or to run a group or to do a coaching opportunity call, but if you fuck up, at least it's done. At least you did it. It's better done than perfect because you guys are never going to be perfect. None of us will ever be perfect, right? So if you wait until you're perfect, you're never going to get there. So you just kind of got to bite the bullet and just go for it and go really live. And I'm sorry for Sarah's team. I probably should have told you that I curse a lot. That offends.
Oh, I'm a cursor too. They know.
Sorry. I forget that it's not just my team and y'all are used to me. So that's something that she really, really talks about. Another really cool tip that I have written down is she looks at her Facebook chat sidebar thing. Don't turn it on, but keep it off. But you can see how many people are live. You can see how many people are on. Based on how many people are on is your ideal time to post. So start paying attention to that sidebar on your Facebook, okay? When you have a lot of people on your chat box, and don't turn it on, guys, okay? Keep it off. You'll thank me. But if there's a lot of people on, it'll be better for you, kind of a thing. And it'll give you a better idea of your perfect times to post. So that was one of Melanie's really awesome takeaways. Creating really cool graphics. I hope you guys know about Canva, C-A-N-V-A. It's free. That's a really great tip, she said, is to focus on your eye-catching posts, and that's going to also kind of give you a little bit more confidence. C-A-N-V-A. If you have awesome graphics and if you have really great content, naturally you're going to feel a little bit more confident anyway, and confidence is going to show through your posts. She usually also, if she has an event, she promotes it 1 to 2 weeks before. So if you have a free group starting on February 8th, that's your focus for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, okay. Sarah, did you have any other takeaways from that one, Melanie?
No, I think you shared on mine for that one.
Yeah, so she basically talks a lot about planning out your marketing, kind of a thing where just think ahead a little bit, and that way your posts are going to be with a purpose, and you're not just throwing shit up just to throw it up. You know what I mean? You're not like, oh, it's 2 o'clock and I haven't posted, so let me just put this up. You know, so you'll have a purpose, okay? So that's something that we want you guys to do, is just kind of like figure out a month, plan it almost a month ahead. And then we're gonna go to really fun stuff, compliance. So they talked a lot about the policies and procedures and compliance. So I don't know if you guys know, but a lot of MLM companies are going down hard and fast, and it's really scary, and we don't want to be associated with that, because that's not who we are, because we are relationships, and we are built on relationships, not on numbers or sales. So a few things that, like, I mean, some of these pictures are really funny. I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see that?
Yeah, a little.
We'll post it, but basically don't post stuff like, if you sign up today, you'll earn a free cruise next week. If you sign up as a coach, you'll earn a free trip. If you sign up today, I'm going to send you a diamond necklace. Instead, post things like, oh, and another thing too, anytime you give a gift, you're allowed to gift $25, and it can never be cash. Okay, so maybe write these things down. If you promote a gift, like if you join my team, you'll get a $25 gift card to Lululemon. If you sign up today, you'll get a gift card for $25 to things like that. Okay, so just your wording, things to like, you know, I did Focus T25 and I lost 25 pounds in 5 days. Things like that. So apparently those things are going on. So we just want to be respectful and acknowledge the truth, because y'all know that it's not that easy. And this is a real business. And we are not here to get rich real quick, because that's not how it works, right? You guys know. So if you have any questions on compliance, we will give you the email, and you can email them. So I 100% say email compliance if you ever have any questions. And if anything pops up and you're just like, I don't know if that's legal. Like if you use a logo, like for me, I'm a Insanity Live instructor, and I can't use the Insanity logo any way I'd like. So if I want to go make a shirt, I have to email compliance. So it's just a little thing, just so that you guys know, and then this way you can also pass it down to your coaches, so that way nobody gets in trouble, because we don't want you to be suspended, because Beachbody can cancel your account. Okay, so let's be safe. Safety first.
That speaker was actually really funny. It wasn't as boring as I sounded. Yeah, he actually was making us crack up. But I guess you have to be funny if you're talking about compliance.
Yeah, like who wants to talk about that boring legal stuff?
Okay, so after him was Bonnie Engel, who I was super stoked to hear from because this chick went from 2-star diamond when she was at the New Leader Conference this time last year to 15-star superstar diamond top 10 coach in a year, which is like incredible. So I was super stoked to hear what the hell this chick's doing. And she was talking about her lists, which if you of course don't have if you aren't working from contact lists right now, you need to talk to me, Meredith, like right now after this call, because that's very important. But she was talking about the 3 lists that she starts every beginning of the month. And she actually showed us a picture. She still has her one from like day one as a coach. And the first list is a list of challengers, past challengers, new challengers. Anyone who's ever bought a challenge pack from her is on this list. And she reaches out to these people twice within a month about coaching. And it's really simple. There's nothing, crazy. She's not adding any secret sauce. She gives them a compliment and then asks if they've thought about coaching. So, and I'll use Liv because I'm looking at her right now. Liv, like, you've been so positive and uplifting in our group. Like, you're killing our challenge right now. Have you ever thought of being a coach? Right? I don't sound salesy or anything like that. She's probably so excited. I just gave her a compliment, I was when Alexa kind of did that with me. But, it's really nothing crazy. I know it might be really nerve-wracking at first, but here's a trick. The more you do it, the less nerve-wracking and scary it gets. So that was her first list. And she just keeps these lists and works off them. The second one was no. She does a list of no's. This is basically her follow-up list. So she was just saying how she'll look back and look at who said no and things like that. And she said actually one of the funniest things from this list is looking back and seeing who is on her team right now and things like that. So don't count the no people out if you do. I was a no person for 3 months, and I've been in this for almost 2 years now. So make sure you're always tracking the people that maybe they don't even answer you. Though I count those as no's too. But make sure you're tracking those. And then the third one was coach prospects. People you think would be a great fit for your team. And this should come from how Meredith was talking, your coach avatar, like your ideal coach in your mind who you think would make an amazing coach on your team. Even if you don't have one coach right now, still think of that team. So she's a list of great coaches, and she private messages them, builds that relationship with them so she doesn't just come out of the woodworks with, hey, you want to be a coach? And forms with them and things like that. So that's her 3 big main lists that she's a pen and paper girl, because which I understand because I am not an Excel guru myself. So that was her secret sauce.
Yeah. And she even said something too, like I wrote down, she said, don't keep their future in your mouth.
Yes.
When she said that, I was like, ugh. Guys, I know you guys, because you guys are me and you're scared to invite. But what you're doing is you're holding their future in your mouth by not inviting them and not talking to them and not reaching out to them multiple times, not following up with them, never saying how amazing they would be as a coach, just letting them go. That's you keeping their future from them. It's kind of fucked up, right? So when she said that, I was like, ugh. It was amazing. So then she talks about her social media and what she did when she started to revamp her social media. She's Lindsay Matway's coach, by the way. So Lindsay Matway is her PS. She stalked Lindsay for a very long time. And what she did was she looked at how she was doing these posts. And when she went to sign up as a coach, she already knew everything about coaching because Lindsay Matway posts everything about where she was before coaching and how Beachbody has helped her get where she is all the time. And Lindsay Matway is very clear and she's very to the point and she holds nothing back. So Bonnie Engel took that and said, okay, how can I basically do the same thing? And she did a little mind switch, and she now considers her social media to be her sneak peek into coaching. Okay, so you know how we always run these sneak peeks, but we stick people in private groups so nobody can see what's going on. But if you change that and you make your social media like your sneak peek, like people always ask me, so what do you really do? I talk to my team, like showing that you're on a call with all these awesome people is part of the job. So taking screenshots of calls and posting about it is like a sneak peek. It's allowing people to see what the business is like before they ever enter into the business. So that way when somebody comes to you or when you reach out to them, all of those objections have already been talked about publicly because you're not holding anything back. Post with a purpose.
And also, just to add to that really quick, if you're like a brand new coach who feel like you haven't made it yet, which I don't even think is a real thing in my head, and you're like, I don't know what to talk about, like I haven't even hit Success Club yet, or I don't even have a team, or whatever it may be. You haven't hit Success Club, talk about what it's done for you as a coach. What has your coach done for you? Because I know the team part, the challenge group part was a big thing for me. That was a game changer. So you can talk about that. If you just hit Success Club for the first month as a coach, what did you do with that paycheck? I remember being so excited because I didn't have to stress out about gas. And I paid my gas with my my $14 Beachbody check, and it was amazing. Right. And that was awesome. That's a thing. Like you can go so many different ways. You don't have to be making $1,000 a week to talk about coaching. Like just take little things that maybe stand out for you and talk about that. So I just wanted to add that in really quick.
And she also said too to think about your social media as your own reality show. I thought that was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So highlight things that you love. If you love talking to your coaches, and if you love your team, and you love your challengers, and you love the income, because what you can do with it now, that's what you guys should share. Okay. So if you kind of do that little mind switch, and then when you look at your Instagram page or something, I just think of it as like a storefront. I feel like I've said this before, but like your social media is basically a great way that you can hit all of those objections and hit all of those points. So if you have objections coming in, that's something that you can talk about publicly. Like you don't need to hold it all in until we have that sneak peek. Allow it to be there all the time for people to see.
Yeah, and also, make your expectations clear of what kind of leader you're going to be. Even if you don't even have a team, you're going to one day. So make that clear. Like my team knows that I am not, soft-spoken, and I'm not going to ever drop an F-bomb here and there, and I'm like some sweet girl. Like they know that's not me. They know like they're going to get like a really in-your-face kind of person because that's how my posts are. So put that out there from the start so they know, like, if you sign up with Meredith, like, you're probably not going to expect a really shy girl who's really, hi, how are you? You know what I mean? You're going to get Meredith and her whole personality. So let that be clear. And I know Meredith's coaches, just look at Meredith. You can see her personality shine out in her posts. I'm just using that as an example because you're like one of the 3 people I know on here. So, let that be out there from the start. Sorry, I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too, like thinking about all of your objections in a way where you take those objections and totally put them out there.
Yeah, and then my big keys for Bonnie speaking were keep it simple and just do it. Like how many times have you said, oh, I got to do this, that, and the other thing, but you never do. You just keep complaining about it. Just do it. Just break the ice, do it. If you're scared of something, put it out there. Put your phone away for an hour and come back and see what happened. That's what I did with one of my big scary thing that I have done in the past. And also, aha moments don't get you anywhere. Get rid of that. Instead, make it action moments, okay? So you're getting probably a million things from this call. What are you going to do after? Are you just going to go, that was a great call, and then go to bed and not think of this ever again? Or are you going to write, okay, tomorrow or this week or whatever it may be, I'm going to do this, Put this, what you're learning, into action, or else, like, if you can go to every event in the year. If you don't apply what you learned afterwards, none of it matters, okay? So let's do action moments instead of aha moments, how you're going to apply them. And also keep your blinders on. Focus on you and your business, because looking at those shiny objects and what this coach is doing and that coach is doing, at the end of the day, doesn't pay your bills. And I know this isn't about money, but I mean, we all want to be financially free, time free, have that freedom, help people. So if you're focusing on what everyone's doing and not keeping your blinders on and just focusing on your business, you're going to crumble at the end of the day, because you're going to feel like you're not doing anything right. So blinders on, that was her big thing.
Blinders on. I call it tunnel vision.
Yeah. Oh, tunnel vision. Sorry.
Same thing. That's like exactly what it is. I mean, that was a huge game changer for me personally too. So we're going to talk about Melanie Mitchell again. So Melanie talked twice, which was amazing. And this is, I hope you guys are all ready and you're not too tired. Making the most of your time. Time management, y'all. Struggle for all of you.
I can't wait to hear about.
All of you are struggling with this, okay? So wake up.
And I know my team, you guys are all busy people, so your pens better be going. So she basically broke this down into about 5 sections. And the first one was so simple, but stood out so much to me and Mare. And it was being the product of the product. Now, don't roll your eyes, because there's more into that. But think of it this way. Your body is your business. Me and Mare heard that, and we were like, duh. Like, wow. Right? But think of it that way. If you're like struggling and you want to hit all these goals and XYZ and blah, 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 go all the way back to the beginning, because most of you probably were challengers before coaches, or started with the challenge pack, I'm going to assume. Go back to working on you. It's so hard to work this business when you're putting yourself last. And she basically said, if I don't do my workouts, how am I going to prove this works? Right? You don't want to be phony. You want to be real. Her second thing was change your time. Establish your business hours. Whether it's an hour a night or you're setting, specific hours. But look at your schedule and look at where you can, if you're a full-time worker or whatever, maybe look at where you can fit in your business, and let your family or your spouse, or talk to your spouse if you have children. Let them know, listen, from 7 to 8, this is my business time. This is me time. And, get on the same page with them. Let them know, if you could just keep an eye on the kids, or leave me alone for this time and let me work on my business, then, just make that time. Don't let it be, sometimes it's in the night, sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's here. For me, I had to give up Grey's Anatomy, though, and Netflix for a little bit in college, because for some reason I was so busy, but I still watch Netflix every night, right? So busy. But I gave up Netflix, and it was amazing the time I had when I wasn't just sitting there binge watching stuff from 8 on. So look at the extra things. Netflix is obviously an extra thing that I had to give up. Also do a planning session. This one really stuck out to me, because I'm like, I'm working these hours, and then I sit down for work, and I'm like, well, now what do I do? That was my hardest thing, is going into a full-time coach, and something that for a little bit I still struggled with was, now what? I have all this time, but I don't know what to do. So look at what do you need to accomplish this week. Brainstorm and create a master to-do list. I like the number 10, so I work off of 10 things. I don't know if she said that or what, but try to conquer, I think it was 1 or 2 a day. Because I remember and she said it too, which made me feel better. I used to make these long lists that I'm going to do for the day, and I would get one done and feel so unaccomplished. So create a master list that you want to do for that week and knock off 1 or 2 a day. Also, this one she couldn't stress anymore, but schedule family time. Like, don't block out your family to be successful. At the end of the day, they're still the most important people in your life, and that's something that I know I definitely messed up with when I signed up as a coach. Was I just didn't think of my family or Nick or anybody, and it sucks. Are you really free if you're glued to your phone or your computer? So put your phone down when it's not business hours. Don't answer messages. Don't scroll on Instagram. put it down and put it away. And I told Nick, I said, you know what? Once I'm done at, I think 7 o'clock, I'm turning my phone off besides team call nights. And that's it. That's something I'm working on. Because she said during homework time and family time, her phone is often in a drawer. Melanie Mitchell, top coach for 2 years and a quadrillion-dollar maker in my head, turns her phone off and puts it in a drawer. So I definitely think we can do the same thing. Don't ignore your family. She, puts things in her Google Calendar and reviews her week so she knows what to expect out of her week. So maybe know what you're talking about, know when you're going to do your coach post, know when you're going to talk about your talent group, things like that. Then once it's go time, this was the fourth one. Once it's go time, there's no snooze button. There's no setting your alarm and working at 6 and then hitting snooze. None of that. If you have to sacrifice sleep, it happens. She gets her workout in and her 3 vital behaviors right off the bat. That way, she doesn't dread inviting. She doesn't dread that workout. She doesn't dread PD. So she wakes up before her little boys do, gets her workout in, I think she said like 4:30 in the morning, and gets her invites done because she said that's the thing she hates the most, her frog. She said, do your frog first. And then she gets her PD in. And right before even half her house wakes up, her 3 vital behaviors are done for the day. So I think, that's no coincidence why she's so successful. She sticks to those 3 VBs every single day. And then, was this the 5th one? I think so. Yeah. Call to action. Pick 2 to 3 things a day from your master list. Get those done. Oh, these were my 3 key takeaways. Sorry, but write these down too. Never forget family time, because that always comes first, no matter how important work is. Focus on the end result. If it's staying home with your kids and not having to work crazy hours or paying off student loans in full, whatever, that big, scary, hairy goal that you have is, focus on the end result, especially on the days where you just feel like you're getting beat down. Let that be always in your mind. So those are my big things from Melanie.
That's it. I pretty much have the same exact things. One thing that you guys can also do is you can put this stopper on Facebook. It's like a Facebook scrolling blocker. You can do this so that way you're not wasting time scrolling Facebook. That's something cool too that she said. We can post the action steps for how to do that, but it's only available on Chrome. But it's an app. It is a thing that will not allow you to view newsfeed. And then what Melanie Mitchell does is she actually uses that as her reward for doing those 3 vital behaviors and doing those things that are going to move her business forward. She gives herself a reward, which is sitting there and mindlessly scrolling through Facebook. Right?
Yeah, her thing was, I think she worked until, 6 was, or like 6:30 was when her boys got up. Mm-hmm. So if she got everything on her list done, her 3 VBs done before they woke up, she was allowed to scroll on Facebook, which I found hilarious. But
exactly,
if it works, it works.
Yeah. I think it's only on Chrome, though. I don't think it's on like Firefox or Safari. I think it's just Chrome. But it's one of those things. And I have honestly, that's something that I personally have stopped doing too, is scrolling. So when somebody texts me and they're like, oh my God, did you see this? Like the other day, Tom was like, did you see how big Jackie's belly was? And I was like, oh, like I really haven't. Like I don't scroll anymore. So can you send me a screenshot? So it's like things like that, like constantly stop and ask yourself, and what I'm doing right now benefiting me in the long run? Is what I'm doing right now going to move my business forward? Yeah, thank you, Jackie. Okay, so things like that, and sticking to your schedule. Melanie Mitchell just said, sticking to your schedule is key. The second you get off track is when you go down. Okay, and it's basically just kind of like, I like to think of it as like a race to the clock. You know what I mean? Like time is money, right? And our time is very valuable. So if you sit down and you're like, okay, it's go time. I only have 30 minutes to get all of this done. Think of it as a race to the clock. You have to get all of that done in 30 minutes. So you have to just sit there and hone in and just focus and just get it done in those 30 minutes. So that was my thing. And then doing the 3 vital behaviors, which is kind of silly not to do. But yeah, that was kind of one thing that I really got was always focusing on the end too. And focusing on things that you can control I mean, we can't control everything. So if you focus on things that you guys can control, that's going to help in the big picture. Okay. Who is next? Kim Carver. Yeah. Something that Kim Carver did really say was that it's the start that stops most people. I thought that was pretty legit. You might want to write that quote down. It's the start that stops most people. So then another cool thing too is they had all 3 top coaches come out, and we had like a live Q&A with them. So it was a coach panel, and I have a few really great takeaways. Something that I don't remember who said it. I'm pretty sure it was probably Michelle Myers. But when she was talking about Shakeology retention, I have it written down here that she consistently shows the benefits of Shakeology throughout her challenge groups. Consistently. And that is one way that she said that she's been able to get a lot of retention on Shakeology is by consistently showing the benefits of it. She also says that she talks about Shakeology as being her one brainless meal of the day. I think Michelle Myers has like 3 kids maybe or something. Like homegirl has no time. And she talks about Shakeology instead of being, you know, when people say, I don't want to drink my meal. I don't want to, whatever that stupid objection is, right? Like, I don't want to drink. She's like, oh, well, it's my one mindless meal that I don't have to cook. I don't have to clean. I put it in a bottle and I shake it. It's my one mindless meal. So if that's like I thought that was such a like a no-brainer. Like, hello, that's exactly what I do too. When I'm running around, when I'm starving, when I don't have time, and or I'm just super lazy, I grab a Shakeology because it's mindless. So I thought that was a really great thing too, she says. And then they talk about too, like, think of things that you can outsource. And when I say outsource, I don't mean like go hire somebody from India. Outsource. I mean, like on Wednesdays, there's a few days of the week that are really busy for me. And on those days, Tom is in charge of doing all of the housework. Things like that. I'm outsourcing. I don't have to do that, but it has to get done. What are those things that you have to do, but you personally do not have to do? Think of a list. See if you can pass it off to somebody and you can get some help. Because that's one really great way that you can get that help without spending more money if you don't have the extra funds to get a house cleaner every week. Not yet, right? Okay. Oh, did you have anything else to add from the coach panel, Sarah?
They were just talking about, someone said, like, how do you create leaders? And one of the big things they were talking about was they find the ones that are interacting in their team page and, like, really, you know, using the team environment and things like that. So make sure, you know, me and Mare, I know, especially after talking this weekend with Mare, you know, we don't just post things in the team page to hear ourselves talk or do trainings to, you know, give ourselves a pat on the back or anything like that. We, you know, the best part of coaching is seeing our coaches get successful. So be sure, you know, even they said stress how important the team page is and interacting in the team page and things like that. That's where, you know, the speed of the leader, speed of their team. So if you don't see your coaches interacting in their team page or in a group or something like that, make sure you're setting the example. Like, I know that might be like common sense, but that's something that even the top coaches were saying, like, that I know gets under my skin too. So, you know, you're the speed of your team. So I don't know, let that one sink in. So I don't know if that's a takeaway or something that I just took and turned it into something different, but
I mean, pretty much all. That's something too that Sarah and I kind of need from you too, from you guys, because let's be real. Like, there's a lot of people in Team Takeover. There's a lot of people on Sarah's team, and look who's on the call. You guys are the leaders. You know what I mean? So we need that from you, and to be present in the groups, because we do put a lot of work in giving you guys that value, and we also want you to get that, so that way when you have your own team page, you're not going to be pissed off that nobody's answering you. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's going to come full circle.
Yeah, exactly. Like, set you found something great. Make a video and put it in a team page. Maybe you suck at videos. I sucked at them at first. Nick would listen to them and tally up the likes and the uhs and all that stuff. I sucked at them. You know how I got better? Making a video and putting it in Alexa's page, you know, if I found something great that I thought maybe someone else would benefit from. Do that in your team's team page, or Meredith or Team Fortitude, you know, whoever. Practice that way. It's your team. It's not, you know, people judging you. You should feel most comfortable with your team. So if you're like, and then I like hit Success Club, and the more you do it, the less that happens, you know? So pick whatever you stink at. Use the team page as your practice. You know, that's actually something I think I actually got from Nick, but use your team page.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jeff Hill kind of came up and he kind of wrapped up. And what he talked about was this bike ride. So you guys know that Beachbody takes the top 10 elite coaches on an amazing trip. And in 2016, they're going to Bora Bora. And last year in 2015, they went all over Italy and France. And he was talking about this bike ride that they had planned. And they had, and it was like all across like the Tuscan like scenery, and it was supposed to be like this absolutely like most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your entire life. And they had this whole day planned, and they woke up that morning and it was really bad weather. And it was kind of cold and it was cloudy, and you really probably wouldn't get the full effect of this bike ride. So all 10 coaches backed out of this bike ride. And Jeff Hill and Carl Deichler are both really big cyclists. And they, you know, Jeff Hill was kind of like, oh, you know, I might, nobody's going to do it. I don't really want to go because nobody else is doing it. Maybe I'll just skip it too, and I'll ride the bus to the next stop instead of riding my bike. He was going back and forth, and he didn't know. And so then finally, after like his humming, what am I going to do? But nobody's doing it, and I don't know. He decided not to go. And he put his bike on the bus, like he packed it away. And he turns the corner to get on the bike, and there was Carl Deichler, all ready to ride the bike. And he looks at Jeff, who's dressed in normal clothes, not in his bike gear, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, you're not going on this ride? And Jeff Hill thought about it. He's like, well, if I go get my bike now, it's going to be a pain because my bike is already loaded and it's behind other people's bikes. And then I would have to go get my clothes out of the luggage to change, and my luggage is at the bottom. And he was basically giving himself all of these reasons not to go. And he didn't go on the bike ride. And Carl Deichler by himself did this crazy bike ride all by himself. So are you visualizing this? Isn't this insane, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with all these people? So Carl Deichler by himself goes and rides. And when Carl finally meets up with the rest of the team at the next spot, Carl was just like, went up to Jeff and he was like, you missed it. Like, you just missed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because you decided not to, like, basically, right? And I cried. I cried when he was talking about this because he was saying, like, how much, like, he regretted it and he will never be able to get that ride back. Like, he was like, that was literally just a once-in-a-lifetime thing that I passed up because I felt like I was going to be an inconvenience to other people. I felt like I was going to inconvenience people to get my bike out of the bus, or to take out my luggage so I could go change, or to ask Carl to wait for me a little bit longer, or to try to convince another coach to come with me. He passed it up. And this is when I started crying because he's like, that is the one thing. He's like, I don't have many regrets, but I regret that moment so much. Never pass up a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because you're too scared to be an inconvenience to somebody. Go on the ride. Take the bike and go on the ride.
I think Jeff left everyone crying because I cried when he was talking about leaving your message.
Oh my God!
And what he does with his kids. I'm going to share that. I'm a bad storyteller though, so bear with me. My boyfriend's next to me going, mm-hmm. But he was talking about leaving your message with people, and of course Beachbody's filled with analogies, so he started telling a story about his kids, and ever since they were babies, he goes into their room, and every single day before he leaves to work, he writes an XO on all 100 of his kids' hands. I think he's 7. But writes it all on their hands. Still, 26 years later, every morning, or when they would stay at his house, I guess now at this point, he writes XO on their hands before he leaves for work. And that's like every morning it lets them know, they wake up and they see that and they automatically think of dad and how much he loves them and things like that. And I think he shared more about the story, but I was crying, so I didn't really get all of the details, but still he shared that was his message every morning to his kids of letting him know how much they love him. Like every morning they woke up and saw that first thing in the morning. So think of your big message. For him it was letting his kids know, I love you so much, and put that out there. Whatever your big message that means more than money, whatever you can get that out, help. See, I told you I'm a bad storyteller. Get that out there. That's the point. I'm going to put the period right there because I'm bad at this stuff.
And then
Shut up, Nick.
he just says done is better than perfect. Doing it is better than waiting a little bit longer. So figure out what that mark is that you want to leave, and then just go do it. Okay. Thanks, guys. That's our book.
Yeah, so that's our trip.
Take a deep breath in. Let that all process. Thank you. Okay. Let it marinate. Does anybody want to unmute and ask any questions that they had throughout this? Did you guys jot anything down? Or do you have any takeaways? Unmute yourself. Go for it. Yay.
Okay, I just wanted to reiterate what I wrote in the comments. Fear.
Oh, thank you.
Perfection is fear in nice shoes.
I love that, by the way. I'm stealing that.
I don't know. I saw it today. I don't remember where I saw it, but it clicked in that moment exactly, because I'm a huge perfectionist, and now I just realize it's just me being fearful. But it clicked in that moment, and I couldn't resist sharing with everyone else.
That's your owl.
Yes, it is my owl.
Your owl. Does anybody else have any questions or things that we mentioned? Takeaways? I'll unmute people. Oh, hi, Abby. Thank you.
No problem. One of the things when you were talking about first about MLMs and not being one of the MLMs that's going down the shithole, is reminded me of just go pro and being a network marketing pro, and instead of being an MLM person. And we're all network marketing pros. We're not MLM people.
You guys are legit business owners. You guys are CEOs.
We're CEOs.
You have to own up to that. Yeah, 100%.
And the other GoPro thing that rung in my head when y'all were talking about Michelle Myers was they have to do the work and you can't do it for them. Like when Eric Worre was sitting on his sponsors, not interviews, but his sponsors' GSRs, and he was trying to figure out what the difference was between his GSRs and his sponsors' GSRs. And it's because Eric Worre was saying that basically that he was going to do all the work for them. All they had to do was sit back and wait for the money to come in. And it totally rung in my head from listening to GoPro the other day is that we can't do it for them. Like I was having one of my GSRs tonight with one of my coaches. I'm like, I'm going to tell you what you're going to have to do to get here, but we're going to do it. But by we, I mean you. And I said that to her because that rung in my head. It's like, I can't do this for you. I can want this for you, but I can't do this for you.
Right. It's like your challenger is set up with a challenge pack. You can give them the tools to make them successful, but you can't make them push play every single day. So
you can't make your sister open the box that's sitting behind her couch that has hammer and chisel in it.
Oh, girl, I hear that.
Exactly. You can be that support and you can give them the tools that they need to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Thank you, Abby. Sherry?
That's so good. I love that, Abby. That's so good too. It's that's hands down, you nailed it. But the other thing is too, is that here's the whole thing. And you guys, all the highlights that you took away from leadership, which is so great. And I mean, well, number one, it's great to have like an upline, like someone like Meredith or it's Sarah. I'm Sarah, correct? That's on the call too. Like in your upline, that's on the call. Like we have to have someone that keeps us accountable for many reasons. And even today, like I fell short on a few things that I'll have to like message Meredith tomorrow about. But besides all that, it's like it's still just like leading with that authentic voice because you know we have our like upline leaders, and then we go to these amazing things like leadership, and we see all these people doing things, and it's like you guys even said tonight. Like what you learn, like don't lose sight of who we are because at the end of the day, some of us like really run our business like faith-based and some of us run it more like party-based and some of us run it more like whatever, like intention-based. We all still have to be authentic at the end of the day. It's like, and that's really like, that's like the baseline to everything. And I mean, and for fuck's sake, I'm gonna say it like, I mean, hell's bells. It's like, I mean, like, I'm still finding that balance. I mean, I know who I am in many aspects, but it's like all this social media stuff makes my head want to fucking explode. But, you know, it's like I know what I'm really good at. I think we all know what we're so good at. It's just like, how do we bring it? And the one thing that even at Super Saturday that Harmony and I went to, it's like, you know, Bonnie even touched on it there. It's like, don't get hung up in like every piece of social media. Like if you thrive, like she even said, she thrives in Facebook. If that's your beefcake, then like blow up your Facebook. Here's the thing though, like someone like Meredith, like she's amazing. Like Meredith, you're amazing at like Snapchat. You're amazing at Instagram and Facebook. And even you and I had the conversation, like Periscope, you're like, okay, like let's like dabble in this or like I want to get better at that. Like you could totally rock it, but like you don't have to necessarily because you've got these three like strong elements to your business that work for you. Like for everybody else, like we might be strong in Instagram or this or Facebook. For me, it's Facebook. My Instagram's like and then whatever else. But I think it's like we shouldn't get so hung up in like when we sign up with a coach and we have this like massive upline. Like for me, like Meredith's my mentor. Like I really thrive on everything that she does because it looks amazing. But I have to realize it's like, well, I mean, she's been on Instagram longer than me, so I'm not going to get like so in a pickle because I don't have 5,000 followers. Well, I just got on there like last year, and it's like even now I'm kind of like, does it really jive with me? Make a long story short, I don't mean to ramble everybody, but it's just like pick something that really thrives for you and then like take something else and like dip your toes in it. Mm-hmm. So I know that I have like Harmony that I can connect with or Allison or Meredith, and I have other people that now I can reach and be like, now tell me about this Instagram thing. Like, how do I jive with this? And then, you know, we all can like feed off of each other, but like, don't get so hung up and like, we have to be like thriving on like 17 social media outlets. Cause like, we're never going to succeed in anything. With that being said, I don't know, I think I lost my thought process, but just like make videos or just get your fucking name out there. Do something, like do something fucking fun. Like for me, it's like doing a video like for 2 seconds out of the day and just be like, my inspiration is like, boom. Like, I don't know, that's what I'm feeling that day. Like Snapchat, I don't even understand it, but you guys that do Snapchat, like make that your thing. Like, what is it? Like, do you feel like fucking beefcake today? Like, did you just make the best meal? Did you just like have amazing sex? I don't fucking know, whatever it is. Like, make that your thing for like 2 seconds of the day. Like, I just suck the most amazing dick. Like we have to think about like what like inspires people. I mean, I don't know, like you get my point. But I kind of get and digress because I'm hungry or I don't know what it is. That's not really true. It's just like I just get excited. So, but that's my point. Just like do like all I can say is like do what like set your soul on fire, like what gets you fired up, and don't get hung up in like 17 trillion social medias. It's like pick something and then we can all dip our toes in things down the line and then we all thrive from there. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm gonna mute myself.
You're like,
because it's after 10:30 and then I obviously like turn into like a fucking warrior princess and have to say the F word.
I mean, I love it. That's kind of how I roll. Does anybody else? Have any other takeaways?
Did anyone want to follow that up?
Any questions?
I had a question.
Oh yeah, thank you.
So you said Bonnie's 3 lists. So the first one obviously was challengers, and you said that she talks to them twice a month about coaching, and then she has her no list and her ideal coach list. But what does she do with like the no list? Like I don't know.
That's her follow-up list.
Okay, so
What do you now? She like checks in later on. She didn't say how long, but
okay.
I guess you'll have to go off there, type a note. Like I know for me, if I just don't get an answer, this is me personally, so this isn't like the guideline to Beachbody. If I just don't get an answer, I put that for follow-up 2 months from now. If I get like a money thing, I'll let them know like, oh, maybe we're talking about the fix. I'll let them know like, oh, the fix is on sale this month without like, I'll make it prettier, but you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, so it depends on, I guess, maybe judge by the type of no, just think when the best type. I usually do a month follow-up based on their objection. If we've been talking, I just don't hear from them after we went back and forth, then I do a month. If I just say, hey, and start conversation and I don't hear from them, then I do 2 months. So I don't know, use your judgment, I guess, on that one. I don't know if Mare has like a strict guideline thingy, but that's what I do. Yeah, her no is just her follow-up list.
Basically. Cool. And one more question. So what you were saying about like the gifts. So I was a little confused. So are you saying that we cannot give $25 gift cards? I know it can't be cash, but
it just can't.
It can't be cash. But we can still give stuff, right?
Yes.
Like
it could be like sorry, Mary, go ahead. It's
okay. Go ahead.
It can be like you can say the first 3 people that join my February fitness group are going to get the 21-day fix book, or like I did that this month. But you can't say, join my team as a coach and I'll give you $25.
Okay, so it's just that you can't do cash. You can do anything.
It's the wording, yeah. It's like your wording. Like, you know when you see like those like salesy people, like, get this now and receive this.
Get 1,000 followers.
Yeah. That's what which none of you guys are. You know, like
yeah,
that's
like sure. I do like, yeah, I do gifty giveaway things all the time. So I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's what I was worried about.
No, I think our wording is fine. But if you guys ever like want to do a big giveaway, or you do some sort of challenge where there's money at the end, like you know how like even on Tricep, how we run like those big groups or like that the recruiting dash groups, how there's like money divvied out. You have to just email compliance and let them know and ask, just get approval, because it's one thing, just clear the air kind of thing, like ask permission just in case. If you feel weird about it, it's probably not a good thing. Let's put it that way.
What they said, when in doubt, just ask.
Yeah. Because the last thing that you guys want is to do a post and then have compliance come to you, and basically they'll shut down your business and you will never be able to coach again.
Don't want to talk to Jemima.
So just email compliance just in case. If anything, if you feel weird about it, but $25 gift card is 100% approved. And if you do a big potluck of money, you just can't go over $5,000.
In case, you were thinking of giving away $5,000.
No, you had that lying around.
No, not a workout tank this time. $5,000.
$5,000 for the next person to join my team. Right. So it's just using your judgment, honestly, is kind of like what they wanted to get the point across. Yeah.
Just making sure. Thank you.
We're so quiet.
I know you guys are. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add, ask, take away?
I do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So when y'all were talking about what Melanie Mitchell was talking about developing a recruiting culture, we had a team call the other Sunday about creating who your Sally is. Mm-hmm. And it talks more about like your avatar, so to speak. of speaking to the person who you want to be your ideal coach. And part of it, for those of us who have more like transformation pictures, more of putting one of our other coaches, Jackie, put up a picture and of herself in front of her, and she wrote her post like she was talking to herself, like her old self, because she realized that her ideal coach is her. And that's basically, I think, who we all want our ideal coach to be, is to be a duplication of ourselves in a little bit different, not exactly ourselves, because hanging around with twins would be kind of creepy, and so she put a picture of herself up in front of her and then wrote her post. And then one of our other teammates, Brooke, was like, dude, where did you get your wording from for that post? She's like, I just wrote from talking to myself.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so amazing, and it really hit home for me. And that's what I've been doing for my post lately, is really going and nailing in and looking and thinking about, like, looking at my old, like, pre-weight loss pictures and pre-happiness pictures and thinking about my mind of where I used to be and how I used to feel and of wanting to never come back. And talking to that person and being like, well, if that person was sitting on the other end of this computer reading my post, what would they want to hear?
All right.
And so when y'all were talking about that, that really hit home for me. So I thought I'd share.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel like we can do an entire call on that topic.
Yeah, totes.
Yeah. But I know it's kind of late for the East Coasters. So does anybody else have any questions, or we can kind of wrap it up?
Just want to say, Sherry, I loved your like party video, by the way. It was awesome sauce. Like, seriously, it legit made my life today.
That was thank you so much. That was being cooped up for too many days inside the house, and thank you so much. So yeah, I was just like, I know I've got some cool shit upstairs, and I was like, I'm gonna do a video on like, it was party mode, and then I was like, let me throw some inspiration into it. So thank you.
We just got plowed the other night too, so I totally felt like making the same type of video. I totally tipped the plowman. I'm like,
and honestly,
I love you.
The fucked up thing is that 40, I'm still like a techno rave chick, and it's like, I'm like, I get on YouTube and I'm like, what's all the old school music I can dig up? So I really have like a lot of fun in the mornings, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. I remember that time when I was, you know, that time when I was like, woo, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so 25 again.
That's so awesome.
That's what triggers my posts and my inspiration, because I'm like, dude, age is only a number. I'm gonna go press play. What's Sagi got for me today? And then I roll from there.
Awesome.
And then I go do like a line of Coke and smoke some cigarettes and drink like a glass of wine. And no, I'm totally kidding.
People that don't know Sherry, everybody that does not know who Sherry is on the face like, but everybody that knows Sherry is like, ah.
Amazing.
Okay,
I'm really kidding.
Thank you.